guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. This week's, instead of a weekly chatty vlog, we are going to do a monthly update. So today is the 29th of September. Obviously tomorrow would be the actual end of the month, but today was my weigh-in day. So we're going to give a whole synopsis of how this month went. I actually reset everything. If you remember, I did a video, and I'll try to remember to link it, my September goals video and what I kind of want to do for the month. I started on whatever the Tuesday was after Labor Day, the 5th, September 5th. And I went back to the basics, completely back to the basics, just being super simple, do what I got to do, but nothing fancy. And so if you remember, my goals were, and I have my little calendar here, which I did not actually finish filling out for the month, so that's one thing, but that's not that big of a thing because that was just really to make sure I was doing what I needed to do. But honestly, by about I stopped on the 15th of September, and by that time I really was getting into the groove. I did miss maybe I think one day of tracking, because then we would have started on the 25th. I must have missed one day of tracking because my tracker this morning told me 24-day streak of tracking in the WW app, which has been so long since I have done that. And I was even tracking the days that I went over. I was tracking every single day, but I must have missed one day because, like I said, it says 24-day streak, and I believe we should be 25, but I'm not positive. So tracking every day, and I'm only tracking in WW consistently. I decided that the double tracking, or even just tracking calories and protein and all that, was just too much for me after such a really super busy couple months at work, and just feeling very overwhelmed. And once you kind of get off track, it's just everything seems kind of overwhelming, And so I just decided just to only track in WW, but I do double track on the 2 days a week that I film my food. So that's why you'll see calories and protein in my what I eat in a day videos. Those are the only days that I do double tracking, just to kind of, and it's actually pretty good because it kind of lets me see what I'm eating, because really I don't eat that much different on every other day that I'm not filming. So it really does give a good gauge of it. And what's interesting is this week I definitely had higher calories. And it was a good outcome. So we'll go through that here in just a second. So tracking was my biggest thing, just tracking in something. Also tracking my weight daily. I made the choice to do a daily weigh-in. Again, I wanted to use it as motivation to make sure that I was on track, to kind of just let me know also in my head that just because I step on the scale on Fridays for my official weigh-in day, that just because I'm not seeing anything any kind of loss, or it's just not a huge loss, being able to see the fluctuations in my weight throughout the week actually was very motivating to keep me going and made me feel good, because you just never know why that Friday you step on the scale, or whatever your weigh-in day is, why is it that when you step on the scale that day that it says what it says, you know what I mean? But knowing that maybe on Thursday you were actually a pound lighter than you were on that Friday, then okay, what I'm doing is working. It's just my body for some reason retained water. Or it also could help you look at what you ate the day before and what maybe triggers your body to retain water, because obviously unless you're eating however many calories it takes to gain a pound, you're not, it's probably some kind of food that triggered it, or hormonal stuff, or it could be anything. So for me, tracking daily has been the hugest motivator, and I'm going to continue to do it until it's not. Sometimes it can get too much, you know what I mean? And mainly that's when you start to stall. But then on the other hand, I'm thinking it's going to be a good thing for that as well, because even seeing those 0.2s, weight loss when you're stalling is like I said, is a good motivator. So tracking my weight daily, tracking my food daily, my water. And I really didn't assign myself a water goal. I really just wanted to choose water first. And I can get very much down that diet soda train. It's very easy to do that, especially on the weekends when I'm, you know, doing more idle things because I do a lot of editing on the weekends, a lot of like video planning or meal planning. We play our video games, any of those kind of things. I do a lot of idle stuff. So I just grabbing diet sodas just seems to be like the way I handle that. And then also, like, you know, usually on Saturdays is my like running around day. And again, you know, it's almost like either I'm just going to grab a diet soda because I forgot my water, or, you know, whatever. So I wanted to choose water first. So that was my main goal. I really, like I said, didn't really have a water goal. I do like to hit about 100 ounces or so, but it wasn't really, that wasn't more about that. It was more about, like, okay, let's see how much water how many times a day I choose water and don't grab anything else, you know, that kind of thing. And then the other thing was supplements, to make sure that I am taking my supplements. And I did show in a video, and I'll see if I can find that video. I showed all the supplements I'm taking, and I did add on 3 more, and I believe I showed that in one of my most recent videos. The 3, so just I'll link that supplement video down below, but let me go grab the other 3 just so it can also be in this video, because I've taken these consistently for the last about 8 days, and so let me talk about those. And I haven't changed anything from that other supplement video that I showed. I have not changed anything from that. I've just added on to it. So the ones I added on over this last week or so has been some magnesium glycinate and fish oil, which we all know fish oil is really good for you, especially if you don't eat like fish like myself. And then I added on this K2 D3 because I have heard that D3 is good, especially going into the winter months. And this last week, it's been nothing but like clouds and rain and, you know, fall weather. Like, we are full force fall weather right now. And I just kind of want to, you know, you get kind of those winter blues. And so that's why I want to start taking the D3. And the K2, I heard taking the K2 plus D3 is good because the K2 helps your body absorb the D3, I'm pretty sure is what I'd read. So all of these are from Motiv8, which most of my supplements I take are from Motiv8. I really, really love those products. You guys know I don't talk about a lot of products on my channel, hardly any actually. And so the ones I do talk about, I truly, truly enjoy and I support. So you can get a 20% off from these products. But I have been, the magnesium glycinate, I got this for my sleeping because I have been, even with taking the other supplements I'm taking, which I'm taking a menopause probiotic supplement, I'm taking a multivitamin, some elderberry gummies, I'm taking a turmeric, which I've been taking that turmeric for like 6 months now for like my joints and stuff, which I swear by. And the menopause one, I believe, has helped me immensely with the night sweats and the hot flashes, because I've only had night sweats one time, and that actually was the other day, was the first time I'd had one since I started taking that, and I've taken it for almost 30 days because I have just a few pills left, which reminds me I need to order some more. And I got those off of Amazon. So the turmeric and the menopause pill I got off of Amazon, and I don't know what happened. My whole camera started doing some weird things. But I will have all my supplements. I will have them all linked down below. I'll have a list of them along with that video where I kind of go more in depth about them. But I will have all of them linked down below. And it's going to seem like a lot, y'all. And it does every time I go to take them. But I have noticed such a huge difference in so many things since I started taking them. I take these 3 that I just showed you. I take those ones at night, mainly because of magnesium. Like I said, I got it for sleeping. And the other ones I just take during the day. Right now I'm drinking my Motiv8 Burn, which I just love this stuff for, it just makes me happy. And I don't know. I mean, I just love this stuff. It's so good. Anyway, so those are the main 4 things. So tracking my weight daily, tracking my food daily, taking my supplements, and choosing water first. So those were my goals for September. And I'll tell you guys, like I said, it's just been such a successful month. I feel so good. Oh, and then meal planning and meal prepping, because I really got off track on that. So I have been doing that, of course, as well. So this week alone, I lost 2.2 pounds. I didn't do anything different this week than I did the rest of the month, but this week's calories were a little bit higher than the rest. I think I stayed between 13 to 1500 every day this week, which was a little bit higher than last week. And last week I did not have as big of a loss. I got some interesting comments. I posted on Instagram last week or the week before, like what I ate in a day. Like it was like a Thursday or something like that when I wasn't filming, and I just posted pictures of my food. And I had 3 people, it's interesting, I had 3 people send me DMs on Instagram that said, basically, you eat too much food. This is why you're never going to lose weight. I could never eat that much food. But the thing is, those days, it was like a week or 2 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and that was an 1,100 calorie day. So I think that a lot of people don't understand that you can have a lot of like high volume food that's low calorie and keeps you full and have lots less of protein. And I don't know. I mean, it didn't even seem like a lot of food that I was showing. And like I said, it was only 1,100 calories. It was just one of those days that it wasn't real high calorie, but it had a lot of protein. And I used, I think, all my points that day. I think it was like 23 points out of my 25. And, but like I said, it was a lot of like high volume stuff. I ate a lot of fruits and vegetables. I just don't think people understand that high volume, low calorie with like a good amount of protein is what keeps you full. But also, obviously, it's working because my body is like burning. My metabolism must be really increasing, and I must be burning more fat because, 2.2 pounds this week, and I ate more calories than I have throughout the rest of the month. And total for the month, y'all. So 11.2 pounds is what I lost this month. 11.2. And that was just going back to the basics. Now, here's the thing though. I'm very, very, very proud of myself. Very happy with what I did. But I'm not even down to the lowest that I was before the summer hit and before my super busy, work season hit. So when I get down to that number where I was at like around March or April, maybe even May, I'd have to look at my tracker. When I get past that number, then I'll start to really get excited. But I am happy about this because this is a huge boost to me. This is a huge reminder that all it takes is to get back on track and to just go back to those basics to lose the weight. And that's why I'm just going to continue on. I'm not going to change my goals for October. The only thing, I have one thing that I'm changing, and I'll tell you about that here in just a second. But other than that, I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to continue on tracking my weight daily, tracking my food daily, only doing the double tracking on the days that I film my food, choosing the water first, taking all my supplements. I'm going to continue on status quo because obviously it worked, and we'll see how it works for October. There's a couple things that I think may get in the way, so I'm going to start with a little TMI stuff. So as you guys know, I mentioned that I'm taking that pill for menopause because I'm clearly in perimenopause. My cycle has been completely messed up for about 4 or 5 months now, and the last 3 months the cycle has been the day that I'll look at my tracker. I have my period tracker. That's what it's called. If you guys need some sort of tracker, which is really nice to have, especially if you are like I am and you're trying to track your cycle because you think you are going into menopause. It's nice data to have, especially when you go to your doctor and you can give them some really real numbers because this actually tracks how long a day of a cycle you have. And so I just want to, I want to have all that data so then when it is time for me to go to my doctor, I can, be able to inform them, okay, this is what's been going on. The only thing with this tracker is that it's free. And before, most recently, it had a way you could actually see on the tracker, like how long your cycles were, like how many day cycle, but they appear to have taken that feature off because I looked this morning to see, so I could kind of give you some information, and it's not on there anymore. So I may look for another free one to see if I can find one that kind of tells you that stuff. But anyway, it's still nice. It tells you when you're expected to start, and then it keeps track. It does keep track of that data, but it appears like that data's not free anymore to tell you that. But you could go back and count, I guess, in between. But basically, this is what's been happening on the day my tracker. Well, usually. So when I have a regular cycle, when I used to have regular cycles, Usually about 4 or 5 days before my period would start, I would start having the PMS symptoms, wanting to eat everything, cramping, moodiness, all of that stuff would be happening about 4 or 5 days before, sometimes a week leading up to. And then once my period would start, then, those things would kind of start to fall off a little bit as, it went. And usually my cycle was about 5 to 6 days long. And then it would start all over again. And I was really on clockwork with my tracker, like literally, like I knew when the stuff was going to happen. And I would almost always start the day that my period would say 1 day left, the next day I would start. So it was very, very consistent. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. Now what's happening is, what's been happening the last few months is those 4 to 5 days before my period would start, I would get the cramping, get all that. I'm like, okay, we're going to start. And it would come time, and it would come time. And the first couple of months, it was like maybe, I think like the first month, it was about 10 days late, and then I would start. And then the second month, I think it was about 14, 15 days late, then I would start. This last month, so in August, it was 21 days late, but the entire month, I was having PMS symptoms. The entire, that's what's been happening though. The entire time I was late, so it was like, 10 days late or whatever, excuse me, but I had 16 days of 14 to 16 days of PMS. The next month, it was like I was X amount of late, then I had all those months. So I'm a little nervous going into October because September, basically, I did not have a period because I started it August 30th, and then it ended. And that's the other thing, my periods are getting very shorter. So it's like only like 2 to 3 days now. And so it was like August 30th through like the 2nd. And then 30th, 31, no, 1st. It was the 1st, that's right. And then I was done. So So I was supposed to start, according to my tracker, in 4 days. I've had 0 symptoms, none. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. But yes, I'm supposed to start on the 4th. So here's a couple of things that I can see is going to mess up my October. But I'm determined not to let it because I feel like these supplements are really helping with, like I said, the night sweats and the hot flashes and all that. So we'll see if it's going to help with my cycle as well. I don't necessarily know if it will because it doesn't seem like that was part of like the, part of the, thing that was supposed to help. But anyway, so we'll see in about 4 days what happens if I start having any, PMS symptoms, or if I'm actually going to start on time, or if we're just going to totally bypass it and see what happens. But I'm just afraid of that, 3 weeks of PMS and what it's going to do to me because I don't want to go off track. So I'm just really hoping that having the whole entire month of September to really build some good habits of tracking, taking my supplements, drinking my water, doing all those things. I'm really, really hoping that whatever happens my way with my cycle will completely, won't even affect me at all. I'm sure it'll affect me a little bit, but, we're just going to go with it. So because of that, I really wanted to be really, really wanted to plan ahead. And so I am making actually an entire month meal plan this month. I have the calendar all ready to go. I have most of the recipes. I have a list. I just need to go put them on the calendar. And I feel like this is going to help me so much when I'm meal planning and meal prepping and get my grocery list together and all of that because I will have an entire month ready to go. I will be sharing it with you guys, but I wanted to let you know a couple of things on it. So I'll put it in a Google Drive where as I update it and stuff, you can see those updates if I change my meals, but also you'll have the capability where you can download it and you can edit it yourself. But because here's the thing. So for one thing, I'm not putting breakfast on the calendar because I feel like breakfast for me, I feel like when I plan breakfast, I get very, very tired of eating the same thing all the time. So that's why I mix up my lunches, so often. I don't do a lot of leftovers. So the same with my breakfast. It's really just whatever I'm feeling that morning is what I'm going to have. And so I'm not planning breakfast, but I am one of the little squares. I'm going to give myself some breakfast ideas and any recipes. And I will link all these recipes to that. And then the same with snacks. I'm not going to put snacks on there because, again, I don't want to plan out. Now, I may do it think, okay, I'm going to make this as a snack because I'll put it in meal prep, so then I'll add it to the calendar. But I think, again, I'm going to take a little square and just do some, here's some snack ideas. Also, Fridays, we always go out to dinner, and so that's what's going to be on my calendar is out to dinner. So again, if you don't go out to dinner on Fridays, then you will want to download the calendar and maybe add into your own stuff on there. But I think this is going to give people a lot of good ideas. And then again, on Saturdays, I don't do anything on Saturdays because, again, that's my day that we're out and about, and it's just is so like up in the air what we're going to do, and I don't want to cook on Saturdays. I don't want to cook Friday nights, and I don't want to cook on Saturdays because I cook every other day of the week, and so I don't want to do it. So it's just really kind of a thin for yourself. We could grab whatever type day on Saturdays. So I don't put Saturdays on there. So it's just Sunday through Thursdays. Friday I'll have lunches on there, and that's it. But I will put little notes on there. Now, also to go along with the calendar, not only for you guys, but for myself, I'm going to have another page, like a Google Docs that's going to go along with the calendar that's going to say on there, because when you guys click on a recipe, you may click on it, you're like, okay, this is totally not low calorie, not macro friendly, not Weight Watcher friendly, like what the heck is she doing? Well, also, when I look at a recipe, my mind starts turning. And I think, okay, how can I turn this around? Like, what kind of substitutions can I make? And I need to make those notes because when I go to make my grocery list, I need to know that. You know, when I go to meal prep it or cook it, I need to know that. And I want you guys to know that too. So any recipes that I'm making some pretty major changes on, I'm going to make a note of that on the Google Docs. And then that way, you know, so if you ever look at a recipe and you think, okay, is she changing this up at all? You can go to that Google Docs and I'll have the recipe and any notes that I am, you know, notes that of things I'm going to change on there. So I just think that I want to do this from here on out for myself too, because again, it just takes the guesswork out of meal planning and meal prepping for an entire, you know, every week, if you do it every week. But also it's giving me the capability, if I run into a recipe like on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, I really want to have that next week, I can change my calendar very easily. I can just move some stuff around. But also, I think this is really going to help going into a month where I just don't know what's going to happen with my cycle and with all this perimenopause stuff that's going on. I want to have a plan in place and not, you know, that it's just there. Okay, here's your plan. You know, let's just go with this. And I'm not in like any kind of like, you know, hormonal stage where I'm picking whatever, you know, to put on my meal plan. So I think this is going to help a lot, and hopefully it's helpful to you guys. I am, like I said, I have the calendar all ready to go as far as like, I just need to throw the recipes in there, and I have a list of recipes, so I'm just really working on it. So I'm hoping by Saturday with the grocery haul, I will have that on there. So anyway, so there's the update for September. Let me know how you guys did for September. What was your loss? What were your goals? Do you have any different goals for October? Like I said, for me, just status quo. We're just going to keep on doing, keep on trucking. But I am so excited about 11.2 pounds down. Like I said, I know this was just a huge like whoosh for my body after, you know, going back on track after being off for so long. So I'm not expecting a huge number in October, but it's really giving me the motivation to like, okay, burst forward. And also in my mind, I'm just keeping in my mind, it probably won't be as big in October because, you know, of, like I said, just when you just get back on track, you usually lose a lot right away. So I'm not expecting huge numbers in October, but it's, you know, I am really excited about it. What I use to track my weight is the Happy Scale. And I forgot to mention that as well. So the Happy Scale, and what I like about that is that it gives you little mini goals. And so right now it has a little goal up there, and it tracks. So it tracks how much you lose in a 7-day period, 30-day period, 90-day period, and all time. So it shows you those trends. It also shows you your little mini goals and how much your progress towards it. And it also tracks your like right now I have mine set that I'd like to lose 1.5 pounds a week. And so it tells you if you're hitting that trend, and then it tells you like based on that trend when you're going to hit the next goal that the Happy Scale app has given you. And so mine's saying October 23rd, I'll hit that second goal. I've already hit the first goal, so I'll hit that second goal on October 23rd is what it's saying based on the trend that I'm doing now. However, my trend right now has been like an average of 2.75 pounds a week because of this huge, you know, amount that I've lost in September. So of course that's going to change a little bit, but it's very motivating to open up that app every morning and see that number on there. And right now it says I'm 35% towards like this next goal. And it's just really nice. And like I said, it's just nice to see the trends and all of that. So it's a free app. I know that there's a premium version. I have no idea what the difference is because I feel like you get a lot in this free version. So those are two apps I do recommend, Happy Scale and a period tracker. If you use a different period tracker that tells you how many days your cycle is, I would love to know a free one because like I said, this one used to, but I'm a little disappointed they took that away. So let me know if you have something else that you use to track your cycle because I would love to check that out. Again, I will have all my supplements linked down below. Don't forget to check out Motiv8 for 20% off so you can, if you want to take advantage of any of these supplements. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.